Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Pixie Love. You guys can call me Pixie. And today we're doing something very, very different. I'm actually recording this intro after my video, which is something I normally don't do. And two, I'm talking about a subject that is kind of personal to me. I think like the first half of the video I just kind of like ramble on about crap, and the second half I kind of like talk about the current situation and stuff. But I've been seeing a lot of stuff about schools and like students being out of control, and I just want to like put in my 2 cents and what I think is going on as someone who's not in school anymore, but as someone who went to a wide variety of schools. So if you guys like this kind of content from me and me just talking about different subjects and just me sitting here talking and giving you guys a lowdown and stuff, let me know. If not, I can go back to reacting. I'm still kind of going to do reacting and stuff, but I don't know, I felt more passion and just motivation to do something like this than to do some of my other stuff. So just let me know, and I hope you guys enjoy this. Alright, so this is like a very different type of video that I've done on my channel, but I kind of like woke up thinking about this topic. You know what, let me just record a video, you know? I've been seeing like a lot of videos online about like the state of schools right now. And it's very interesting. And I feel like I have a very unique perspective on this because I did move a lot as a child. So I went to a wide variety of different types of schools. Some I liked, some I didn't like, some that was amazing, some that was awful, some with horrible teachers, some with horrible students, you know. And so, and yeah, this for me was like 5-6 years ago when I was in school. But I still feel like I could like talk about this, you know what I mean? Before I get too deep in it, first I want to say I don't know what's going on with my avatar. I don't know why she's not moving. Whatever, we're just gonna leave it here. So today I watched a video about a girl giving her valedictorian speech, and she was, you know, thanking, you know, the counselor for teaching her how to be self-reliant, because, you know, they was never there for her, never wanted to talk to her, never, like, even when they set up appointments, they would always miss them and blah blah blah. And then she thanks the school faculty for something else because, you know, they didn't tell her about scholarship opportunities until the deadline and this and that. And then thank the teacher who was an alcoholic. And it was a very interesting speech. And this was from 2019. And I found this kind of relatable in a really weird way. Because lately, a lot of people are blaming the problems in schools on students. And while I will say I feel like students are out of control and it's a lot, when I look back and think about things, the problem that you see isn't the problem that's really there, you know? And what I mean by that is like the way the school treats the students is reflected by how the students are acting. You know, I can tell from experiences, schools that have a higher population of minority students as Latinos and with Black and Hispanic and Latino people, those schools treat the students with such a low level of respect, and therefore the students don't give respect. The students, being younger and honestly not fully recognizing the consequences of their actions and honestly not giving a fuck, they tend to be what everyone sees as the problem because they will act out, they will show their ass, and they will not care. But that comes from not being treated as like a decent person to begin with. And what I mean by that is like, so a lot of my experiences of kind of the bad schools were in Texas and Houston, Texas to be exact. I was in the A-Leaf school district, so if you're from that area, you know exactly. And I remember my middle school, like they had a very strict dress code. It was khaki or navy blue pants and then red, white, or navy blue tops. Collar tops, you know, can't just be any type of tops. And you had to wear a black or brown belt. If you didn't wear a belt, they would zip tie your pants. Like, that's so freaking embarrassing. You also had to walk around with your lanyard and your school picture to make sure you went to that school. I honestly literally have very little memories of lunch during that time, but I'm pretty sure it's very like single file, get in line, you sit down, you can't stand up. You can't do other things during your lunch period. When you were walking down the hallway, if you were walking south, you would be on the left side of the hallway. If you were walking north, you'd be on the right side of the hallway. That's it. I remember one time I was, it was the end of the school day, I think, and I was trying to get a friend's number on the way to the bus, and the teacher literally just snatched my phone out of my hand. And at this school, you can only get your phone back on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and your parents had to pay a $15 fee to get your phone back. And this was middle school. So these are like 11 to like 13-year-old kids, 14-year-old kids. These are pretty young kids. And that like level of control, like literally no body autonomy back. Like it was the end of the day. We were walking towards the buses and you just literally just snatched my phone out of my hand. Don't even know who I am. Like, are you kidding me? Like, the power and control that these people had over us was ridiculous. And in that school, I would say, yeah, there was quite a bit behavior issues. But like, and I feel like that's one because the kids couldn't do anything. Anything outside of what was told for us to do was like a form of rebellion. Like, it was ridiculous. I remember when we moved down there, the schools I went to previously didn't have a uniform, and my grandmother had 6 kids, so all the schools we went to, because we were all in different schools, because in A-Leaf, they have a very interesting system. They have elementary school, intermediate school, middle school, and high school. So elementary school is kindergarten through 4th grade, intermediate school is 5th and 6th grade, and middle school is 7th and 8th grade. So actually my middle school was only 12 through 14 years old, actually. Anyway, so I was in middle school. My sister, my cousin was in intermediate, and some of the kids were in elementary, and I think my cousin was in high school. I think he was like a freshman, which is a whole nother story with that situation. So literally she had 6 kids in 4 different schools, and all of them had to have uniforms. So the school gave her leeway, like first 2 weeks, well, your kids cannot wear a uniform until you can get them all like uniforms. And the amount of times that I was stopped because I didn't have a uniform, I had to repeatedly tell teachers who didn't believe me. So I was pulled into the office, and the office was like, yeah, no, she doesn't have to wear a uniform. She's new here. They're like, I saw her here last week. No, you didn't. I wasn't here last week. You literally didn't see me because I wasn't in the state, you dunce. Like, oh my God. And like the fact that like I am 12, 13 years old. Do you really think that I'm bold enough to walk into a school where everyone else has to wear a uniform and think I'm going to get away with it if I'm not allowed to? Like, you really think I'm that bold? I'm 12 or 13. Like, calm down. It's honestly not that deep. The amount of times that I was stopped my first 2 weeks because I wasn't wearing my lanyard because I haven't yet gotten my school picture. And actually, my school picture had me in a non-uniform, which pissed people off. Yeah. The amount of times, I remember in between classes, I was talking to a male student, and the teachers told me I can't talk to him because he's a guy. Those memories stick out to me so much because I'm just like, that is so insane, like that level of control. And the reason why, for me, it sticks out so much is because before I went to this school, I was at a school that was very relaxed. Very relaxed. No uniforms, no like telling the kids where they can go and how to get there, like what directions. Like, you could walk in groups, you could walk by yourself. Like, I went from a totally different environment to this environment, and that environment was so weird to me. Like, do I believe kids need structure? Yes, but kids also need room to grow, to learn from their own mistakes, and to also make mistakes. But in that setup, the way they have it set up, you can't make mistakes. You are punished heavily for making mistakes, and it's unfairly punished. And it's also very biased. I had a lot of teachers that also wanted to be cool, so they would like pick on the quieter, nerdier kids because they wanted to be friends with the cool kids. Like, the teacher who actually took my phone was one of those teachers who actually got the very next year. She was one of those teachers who were like super cool and chatty with all the cool kids, and then like didn't stick up or defend the quiet nerdy kids, which I was a quiet nerdy kid. But I could like stand up for myself. Like, I didn't need that bitch. Anyway, and a lot of this, me bringing up these issues, this like story, and not to just talk about myself, but just to bring up a lot of the schools where you see like the school fightings or the students being extremely disrespectful to the teachers and just honestly being crazy and out of pocket. They come from these schools. They come from these environments that are extremely structured to a point where it's not beneficial. There's no type of like self-worth in these type of schools. Like, you're literally supposed to conform to whatever they want from you, and that's it. If you're not that, you're a problem. And what they want from you is extreme for the ages of the people that they're asking it for. And these kids act out in extreme ways because the pressure and the environment that they're put under is extreme. Now, it's unfortunate because it does seem like a lot of the times the teachers who are kind of getting the short end of the stick are the teachers that want to help and want to be good and are there because they kind of like what they do. It seems like they're the ones that like fumble under the pressure and get all of this craziness from these students. But it's a system from the top down, not from the bottom up. People want to blame the students for the problem. The students aren't the problem. If you fix your system, you can fix the students. Teachers make so little at the same time. Like, I don't understand why anyone would want to be a teacher at this point. I want to break it down how much a teacher makes because I looked into this earlier. So I looked up like the average starting salary for a teacher and like the average salary. So looking at the average starting salary, I would say it's roughly 35 to 40,000. Some of them are a little lower. So we'll go 30 to 40,000 for starting salary. To put this in perspective, I made last year roughly $35,000 last year, which is still, I believe, under the poverty line or like right at it. And that was only from me working from March until December. The first couple of months I was making $15 an hour. After, let's say July, I was making $24 an hour at my job. So basically, teachers are making between $15 to $24 an hour a year. And it's actually lower than the 24 because my 24 was half the year and I still made $35,000 and I didn't work the first 2 months of the year because I was moving and a lot of crap happened. Actually, like the second half, it was barely even in March. So honestly, the first 3 months I wasn't working. I still made more than some teachers make. Like, that's insane how little teachers make. Like, if I would have made $24 an hour the whole year, I would have made about $55,000. Because I did the math how much I would make yearly. So that's insane how little they make. And I work in retail. Okay, I now make less because I moved again. But, like, I work in retail. And I would be making more than a teacher. Like, insane. I feel like, once again, with teachers, so I talked about students and, like, the systems that these students are under when they're going through these problems and where the students are being extremely disrespectful, what they're dealing with. Now I'm going to talk about teachers because teachers are also bottom up. Teachers aren't the problem. Like, they can be the problem. They can be a part of the problem. But, like, once again, teachers they're kind of a victim of the situation as well because they're like the middle ground. They're only one step above the students. There's administrators and then there's like freaking lawmakers and like teachers are still like pretty low. And so the teachers who want to get paid very little it deals with the initial reaction from the students being mistreated. And the teachers, they have to follow the rules. Do I feel like some of them are power hungry and likes to take advantage of them and just be a dick to people? Yes. Do I feel like there's some teachers who are at a point in their career where they honestly don't care anymore and they're just fucking here? Yes. But do I think there's teachers who generally care and want to do better and just wants to educate the next generation? Yes. And do I think it's hard when they're just trying their best, they're just trying to follow the rules that are in place for them, and then they have a student yelling in their face or a group of kids who just don't want to shut the fuck up? Yeah. And they do all that from freaking below poverty? Yeah, you got me fucked up. Like, one point in my life I wanted to be a teacher and I'm glad I did not decide to do that I was like torn between being a high school like math teacher because I love math, or being a preschool like daycare teacher. And both, like, I feel like daycare is not as bad, but both don't seem appealing to me anymore, especially for the price tag, you know? And it's just, it's disheartening. I don't understand how principals and administrators and lawmakers can see like the things that teachers do day in and day out and not think that they deserve more. Like they don't deserve to be treated better from underneath them and above them. Like the students treat them like crap, the administration treats them like crap, the school boards treat them like crap. Like it's just, it's a double-edged sword, I think is how I would describe it. Now I can't really talk about experiences of teachers because I've never been a teacher. I have taught, I guess. I've been a tutor and taught students, and my students were great. But I didn't work in a school form. I worked in like an after school program like parents had to pay for. So obviously parents are like, you're gonna treat these people with respect because I gotta give them my money. But I feel bad for everyone in this situation. Like I saw a video today of a teacher. I didn't see it today. It was a couple days ago, but it was a teacher just walked out of class. Like, just left. Boom. I'm going to put a couple pictures up because I can't find the actual video, but I found stills of the video. Just like, you know what? I give up. I quit. She, like, quit in the middle of the school year. Just couldn't do it. Was done. And, like, the students were, like, just mocking her and laughing at her beforehand and during. Like, they just did not care. I don't know. I just, like, I don't understand. But I want to talk about something else on the flip side. But when I went to schools that were in predominantly white areas, the schools were just better. And I don't just mean like the equipment that they had and the quality of teachers. I just mean like the way that they treated the students, especially because I went there in high school and middle school for like both. Like, so I went there, elementary school, high school, middle school, as well as minorities, elementary, middle school, and high school. And like the freaking difference is night and day with how they treat their students. They treat their students like they're actual human beings. Like I'm not told exactly what side of the hallway I have to walk on. Like I can stop and talk to people. Like literally we had like lounge areas where like the stoner kids would sit here, and we had freshman corner where all the freshman kids would hang. And it was just like where people would congregate every year. So it wasn't like, oh, freshmen have to hang out here. Like, no, this was freshman corner. All the freshmen would hang out in these little corners every year, and that's where they would stay. The stoners would, like, sit on this one bench and all talk to each other. Then, like, and, like, there was no one telling them, like, oh, no, you guys have to get to class. You can't stay in the hallway and talk. Mind you, this was, like, before class and, like, during lunch periods and stuff. Another thing, during lunch, I was able to do what I wanted to. Like, if I didn't want to go eat lunch and I went to spend my lunch period in the library, I can do that without having to get a freaking hall pass. Oh, don't let me get started on hall passes. We had planners, and we only get 3 a day. So you can only go to the bathroom 3 times a day. I can, like, go and chill with a teacher if I wanted to. I can go to the music room and practice my choir or practice my instrument. I didn't have to sit in the lunchroom. Oh, and when I was in the lunchroom, I didn't have to stay in my seat all day for the whole 45 minutes of my lunch period. I could get up, go sit with another group of friends. I can get up and go get a snack. Like, oh, and when it was time to go, we weren't dismissed by tables like we were in elementary school. We were like, okay, you guys are big enough to go walk back to your class. You got 5 minutes. Insane how mind-blowing it is when you treat students with respect. They treat you with respect, and they don't act a fool as a whole group. Like, yeah, there's a few outliers that were troublemakers and all around bad kids, and I say that with quotations because a lot of those times bad children have bad homes, and that's other situations that they're dealing with. And the way the schools dealt with them wasn't to ostracize them, to embarrass them in front of their classmates, and to what they did was they try to find programs for them and help them and do things for them, like get counseling. The school has so many different programs. Like, I make jokes about this program because I honestly do think it was stupid, but I was chosen to be a part of a group that was being a minority in a predominantly white school. The group was created by 2 lesbian teachers. they were sweethearts, but also it was like white savior complex definitely with them. But besides the fact, like the idea of that group coming up, and it was literally in the middle of the school day, I was randomly told to go to this meeting room, and they told me about the group, and they're like, if you want to be a part of it, you know, we'll take you out like once a week. I was like, hell yeah, take me out of class once a week. I'll sit here and let these people complain about their problems. Mind you, I mostly hung out with the white kids. Like, I didn't have a problem with integrating into this society. Like, half my family is white, so it was whatever for me. But, you know, I got out of class. I got to hang out with some people that I normally didn't hang out with. Some of the people I actually still kind of talk to this day. They were more my sister's friends than me, but, like, I know them. And, yeah, there was other programs like that. Like, but other schools, like the minority schools, didn't have those type of programs. And like I said, whenever a student stepped out of line, they kind of went to embarrassing them. Like I said, taking their phone in the middle of class, like blatantly, or like mine, just snatching it out of my hand while I'm walking in the hallway on my way home. Or the zip tie situation, like, oh, you're not wearing a belt? I'm going to zip tie your freaking pants together. Like, oh my God, it's just, and they would do it in front of the whole class. If you walked into class and the teacher knows you weren't wearing a belt, they would call you up and zip tie you in front of the whole class. Insane. And like, yeah, if I was being treated that way, I might act out too. Luckily, I stood under the radar. I just followed the rules, did what I had to do. But I would definitely say I enjoyed my time better at the schools where I had freedom than the schools that didn't have freedom. Like, and I enjoyed my time better because the environment all around was just less stressful, less like chaotic. It was less, because like at that point you're putting these little rules over the education, because like you're stopping class to zip tie someone instead of doing education. You're like doing these little stupid shit. Like, it's so distracting that someone is not wearing a uniform. I have to like literally call the office and like make sure she's allowed to be like that. Like, it's just so dumb. Oh, this person doesn't have her lanyard. I have to stop class to send her all the way to the library because now she has to pay for a new one because she doesn't have her school badge anymore. Like, it's dumb. And those points interrupts the actual educating part of the school. I do want to understand something though, because it does seem like since COVID, a lot of things have been happening in school. Like, the literacy level in the United States have gone down. I think test scores have gone down. And it just feels like, I feel like the idea of a hybrid school system where doing online school would be really helpful for students, especially like, I know some schools that like give kids an option now to like go to school or do do online, which I feel like for like mental health days, that would be awesome. Like, I just want to get my schoolwork done. I could just do it at home, yada, yada, yada. Which, like, yeah, that can be abused, but if they're not doing the work, they just fail. You know what I mean? Like, it will still count, you know, just, I don't know. I have seen, like, a higher level of the students disrespecting the teachers instead of kind of disrespecting each other. Because I feel like when I was younger, like, yeah, there was one or two fucking assholes that would say something to the teacher or be dumb. But a lot of the time, the aggression was kind of towards each other. A lot of in-school fights, a lot of drama started, a lot of bull crap. But now it's like they're just fed up with the adults in their lives. And it probably because they spent the last 2 years at home with their parents. And they just realized how much they fucking hate their parents. Like, it sucks. But like, they're just like, yeah, I fucking hate all adults because I hate my parents. And I'm just going to not, you know, listen to any authority. I also feel like I'm someone who did study early childhood education and development and parenting. And a lot of parents don't parent. A lot of parents don't know how to be a good authority figure in their children's lives. And so when they had to literally be home with their kids for 2 years and actually teach their kid and be authority to their children, and there was no other person straining out their kids for them, a lot of parents crumbled because a lot of parents expect the schools to do these things for them, which is just like, no, you still should be doing your job. Like, I was living with my boyfriend's family like 2021, so it was like the second year of the school, like being online and everything, and like his sister and like his brother, and they were all complaining about like the kids not going back to school and having to do the online school and everything, and how like the kids aren't learning anything, and it's just like they have to be at home with their children. And I'm just like, you had these kids, and I get it was like stressful, but like I I don't know. I mean, I don't have children yet, but I feel like the being mad about having to teach your own children, I'm sorry, what? Having to sit there and work with your children. Like, you should be doing that either way. Your kids shouldn't just go to school, learn something, and then do their homework. But like, you should be engaging with your children's education, whether they're in online school or in actual school. If you're not able to help your children with their homework, what are you doing? I don't know. I just like it was like I don't remember that their exact words, but I remember their complaining to seem very, very odd to me, and I feel like a lot of parents felt like that. Like they didn't want to parent their children. They wanted someone else to parent their children, and then wonder like, wow, my kid's so good in school, but they're not good here. And a lot of kids kind of felt that as well. I think another thing is like, if I was a child during this time and my mom couldn't even help me with my homework, I'm like, why the fuck am I learning this? She can't do it. Why do I have to learn how to do it? And as a kid, I'd be like, Mom, why do I need to know this if you don't know this? So they kind of lost respect for the people who were teaching them because their parents were teaching them. And so they just go to these schools with these people who, honestly, they're fed up at this point because no one cares about them either. They're barely making any money. They have to do all this work. They have to buy their own supplies. Like, schools don't even, like, apply shit. They don't even give teachers school supplies, which makes no freaking sense. But anyway. And then they have a class full of students who haven't had to be in a structured environment for 2 years. And now they have to, like, rein in these students who are, like, some of them are bigger than them if you're talking about high school and middle school kids. And classrooms are, I think, at their all-time highest as many students as well. So, like, classrooms are getting bigger. They have more people that they have to handle. And the kids just don't respect them because they don't respect anyone. And it's, I don't know, it's an interesting dynamic that I feel like definitely needs to be addressed. And as crazy as it sounds, it needs to be addressed, but in a delicate way. You can't go authoritarian like the middle school I was talking about earlier. You can't go that far because honestly, all you're going to do is make the problem worse. You have to find a way to have authority, to give them a structured environment without trying to control every aspect of their life while they're in your building, and just building respect. Like, you have to build the trust and respect with these students. That's what it is. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know how you guys feel about this type of video. I just kind of rambled a little bit. I feel like I didn't even get to say everything I wanted to say because, like, before recording this, I had like an emotional breakdown, but about something completely different. But I still wired up recording today. I still feel like there's so much that can be talked about. But yeah, I don't know. I think I might want to do more videos where I just like sit and talk about things instead of just like reacting to videos and stuff like that. I am planning on doing a video of like gym creeps, because I know that's been like going around on TikTok where like guys are creeping on girls, and a lot of like parody videos, which I find so freaking annoying because men are annoying. But yeah, hopefully I can get one of those up soon. But yeah, if you guys like this video, let me know. If you guys like me, if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know. If you guys enjoyed me, you guys can leave a like down below or a comment. Let me know if you hated this style. If not, yeah. With that being said, I'm going to head out. Bye-bye.